We are back with more unpopular opinions. This is the second half of my reactions. Make sure to go watch part 1 if you haven't already. And I do want to make sure we're all on the same page here because I never wanted to seem like I'm hating on any people who sent in these opinions. I mean, I asked you guys to send me your most unpopular opinions. So some of these are pretty unhinged, but I'm here for it. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the hot takes. Honestly, I think a lot of these are pretty funny, and I'm just here to react. I mean, this is what makes music fun and interesting. If we all agreed on everything, it would just be boring. You'll see very soon. I mean, some of these are crazy, but I love it. I'm here for it. It's all in good fun. It is always just in good fun. And remember, if you like this kind of content and hearing me talk about music, then subscribe, because that's what I do. Anyways, we're just gonna pick up right where we left off. Enjoy! The Secret of Us is the most boring album I've heard, and Gracie is untalented. Okay, we're gonna talk about this, I guess. I got multiple opinions, and it wasn't just like, I don't really like Gracie Abrams, I don't see what's so special about her. They were like, she is the most stale, untalented artist in the game right now. She deserves nothing. I'm sorry, what? I've always found Gracie Abrams to be extremely talented. Like I said, I saw her open for Taylor Swift at the Eras Tour, and I didn't know any of her music then, but I thought she had a really wonderful voice. She was a great performer. Clearly, a lot of people love her. She's doing something right. Then I listened to The Secret of Us, which I talked about in my ranking video, and I loved that album. It's a great album. It has so many really powerful songs like Risk, Close to You, I Love You, I'm Sorry, just to name the most popular stuff, but even a lot of the B-sides. And it really baffled me how so many people were calling it boring. And then recently, I did go see her Secret of Us tour at the Greek Theater, and I don't really know how to describe my experience there other than just saying I was kind of locked in a trance the whole time. I don't know how to describe it, but her vocals were so amazing. She literally sounds like the studio version throughout the entire 1.5 hour set. Every song, she sounds exactly like she does on the record. She has a really great energy. I loved her little talks in between. It's clear from the way she performs, the way she writes and does her music, that she has a really deep, genuine love for the music. Again, you don't know much about a celebrity from their outward persona, from their stage presence, but what you can tell is the genuineness of their artistry. And Gracie Abrams is easily one of the most genuine artists out there. If she was just copying Taylor Swift exactly as Taylor was, then people wouldn't listen to her. People would just go listen to Taylor. She is doing something unique. Is it that unique? Is it jaw-dropping? No, I don't think so. And I don't think Gracie will ever reach the same level as the biggest artists right now, like Taylor and Sabrina and even Olivia Rodrigo, because there are a lot of similarities between her and other artists. And she doesn't have like that unique of an appeal to bring her to like the #1 spot at any given moment, in my opinion. But that doesn't make her untalented, and that doesn't mean that she's giving us nothing. Again, it's this binary. People feel like artists are either the best in the world or the worst in the world, and that's just not the case, especially with Gracie Abrams. Like, I would say go to a concert, but they're kind of expensive now. I spent an outrageous amount of money to go see her, but it was worth it. It was so worth it. I will always stand by my girl Gracie. This is no. We're not doing this. I wish there were more good pop guys in the music industry right now. Love the pop girls, but I'd like a bit more variety. I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean, I'm not really passionate about the pop boys. I don't know, I feel kind of bad. I just listen to pop girls mostly. I mean, as you guys can tell, I think there are very successful pop boys right now who are making impacts with songs every now and then, you know, Harry Styles, Troye Sivan, Shawn Mendes, Benson Boone recently like super blew up with that one song, right? So I mean, they're out there for sure, but they're just not really reaching the mainstream, I think, because when you think of pop, when you think of that sphere of music, I think people do immediately go to the women. At least the kind of pop people associate with the pop girls. Like, yeah, the guys aren't really doing that as much in a mainstream sense. But it's there. It's out there. Conan Gray, I forgot to mention him, right? It's out there, certainly, but I don't know, I'm not really too passionate about it one way or another. Alright, this would not be a video on my channel if we didn't talk about Taylor Swift. I got a ton of opinions on Taylor. A lot of them were just kind of like, I like this song, I don't like this song. You can go watch my very long ranking video if you'd like to see my opinions on those, but I'm going to focus on a few really juicy ones that I thought were interesting. I think in general Swifties are too hard on Gaylors. Do I think she likes men? Yes. Do I think all her relationships with men have been real? Yes. Do I think some of her music has queer undertones and she could be bi? Also, yes. This is interesting because I don't think speculating on an artist's sexuality is inherently bad or creepy necessarily. I think especially if like as a queer person you want to see more queer artists, right, in mainstream, I think that would be a wonderful thing to have. It's obviously fine to want that, but I think because we've reached a point where there is a whole dedicated community within Swifties that has been named because they so often speculate on Taylor's sexuality and refuse to believe that she's straight, that's when it dips its toes into being kind of creepy and weird, in my opinion. If you are really that adamant about Taylor Swift being gay, I mean, whether she is or not, it's not really any of our concern, but at the same time, like, Taylor is easily one of the most outwardly public people about her relationships, which have all been with men. Her song about the gays is probably one of the straightest songs I've ever heard, and that's not a bad thing. I will defend You Need to Calm Down. I will defend that song. But come on, only a straight person would write that. I do think, in my opinion, her most queer-coded song is Tolerated. In the lyric, I think my love should be celebrated, but you tolerate it. And she did say, you know, she wrote that inspired by her own experiences in relationships. But I don't think that makes her queer. It just means that her music can have queer undertones. Yes, 100%. But again, like, I'm pretty sure gaylers, like, really go out of their way and stretch the most minute things to make it seem like Taylor is this queer icon that we've been missing out on this whole time. It's just dumb. There are already other queer icons we can look to. Taylor is just our lovely little straight millennial. And that's okay. We love her for that. I don't get how people can listen to Taylor's re-recordings. Most of them sound so unenthusiastic compared to the originals and aren't as authentic. Now, not too loud on this one. Not too loud. I do have to agree with the part about how they do kind of sound inauthentic and unenthusiastic. But that's no fault of Taylor's. I do think she's doing her best with it. It is just like, naturally this whole project is very, very difficult to re-record work that is like almost a decade old when her voice has totally changed, her life experiences have totally changed, she's not in that state of mind anymore, and she's not even using the same producers sometimes. So yeah, they're going to sound different, and I think that is naturally going to lend itself to a lot of the re-recordings not sounding as good as the originals, because to longer time Swifties, like, the originals are just very nostalgic. They have a specific sound that we love so much, and I felt that way a lot as well. Style, Taylor's version, did not like her. Out of the Woods, Taylor's version, I've talked about before, I did not like that. Even some of the other ones like Sparks Fly, 22, there are some that to me just don't sound good. They just don't sound as good as the originals. But I think we also do need to remember the boldness of this project as a whole in the first place. And before y'all come after me, yes, I've listened to My Tears Ricochet. Yes, I've listened to It's Time to Go. Swifties can admit flaws in her music, and especially in the re-recordings, without being any less of a Swiftie than you are for standing by every single thing she does. It doesn't mean I support Scott Borchetta. It doesn't mean I don't support Taylor having the rights to her own music. If anyone is the new Taylor, it's Billie Eilish. Okay, this one is really interesting, and the rest of this opinion kind of unpacks Billie's albums and compares it to Taylor in a way. But honestly, I think I kind of agree. It's hard to say, you know, who's going to be the next big artist to have the same impact as Taylor, because not only has Taylor had such a massive, unprecedented impact, but she's also not done yet, and she's still going to be a big artist making ginormous impacts probably for a little bit longer. But I think the most listened to artist on Spotify right now, her albums have all been massive hits with some really big songs that, like, everyone knows. Everyone knows who Billie Eilish is. Everyone. I don't know, I think she could be reaching that point. I think she still has so much to offer. She's already doing so much. So much, and it's only been 3 albums. Her debut album was huge. It was massive. Like, that's really hard to see. Not even Taylor could do that. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I think Billie Eilish is going to take over. I mean, she already kind of has. Another opinion I got quite a few times tied to Billie: Hit Me Hard and Soft is mid at best. I actually got this quite a few times, and a lot of people saying it was a major disappointment, it drags, it's boring. I'm not gonna lie, I was genuinely shocked when I first learned that people did not like this album. Genuinely shocked. My first exposure to that was when I watched a Swiftologist video of him doing like a similar reacting to unpopular opinions video, and he said he hates this album. I was like, huh? It's possible? I was genuinely shocked, because I think this album is so good, and not even just my personal opinion, I think it's so palatable. And especially if you've been listening to Billie, if you've been keeping up with her, this feels like a natural next step in her artistry and a natural evolution. I don't understand why this is the album that seems boring or that it's dragging. If anything, this album is more interesting than her previous ones. It has so many new production elements, so many new vocal elements and lyrical elements to it. I don't understand. I got some people saying it's the worst in her discography, some people saying it's the best in her discography. I didn't realize the opinions were that mixed. I thought this was a pretty overall liked album, so I don't know, maybe y'all really are just the minority. Ava Max is not only underrated, but completely dismissed by people, namely due to TikTok DJs making her interpolated songs and comparisons go viral. I think I do have to agree with this one. I'm not a huge Ava Max stan, but I have listened to some of her music mainly because one of my friends really likes her and made a playlist to try to put me on to Ava Max, and yeah, she's pretty solid. It is like unfortunate that her most viral songs and her most popular songs are the ones that sample others, because yeah, she does do that a lot, but she also has, of course, a lot of her own unique songs. She wouldn't be an artist making an impact if all of her songs were just remixes of other songs. I do really love her voice, like this opinion mentions. She has very strong vocals, and even some of her sampled songs I think are really unique, like My Head and My Heart. It is like an interpolation of another song, but I still think it's a really good song. So yeah, I just don't get the hype around Sabrina Carpenter's music. It's not memorable to me in the slightest, and her music does not have much character. Her aesthetic is really nice, but her music just isn't giving. I got this one quite a few times, and I have to disagree. I mean, you guys know that I love Sabrina Carpenter. I made a whole video on why Emails I Can't Send is like a masterpiece and why I will always stand by that album and how it helped her start to blow up with Feather and Nonsense and her going on tour. And then with Short and Sweet, that immediately became one of my favorite albums of the year upon first listen. It's so good. And I think in the past, it's understandable how maybe the music just did not seem that interesting to you. Even Emails I Can't Send, I think it's a masterpiece. I think there's so much great lyrical and sonic content to it, but I can understand if you don't like it. I can understand if you find it kind of generic. And the same goes with a lot of her older music. It is just kind of basic pop music as she was trying to find her sound. But with Short and Sweet, it's so evolved, it's so refined. I don't understand how you can listen to that and then still say that her music isn't memorable or interesting. There's a reason Espresso literally is the song of the summer. There's a reason Please 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 went #1. People like this music. It's unique, it's fresh, it's exciting, it's fun. I saw another opinion that was like, it's insane how Sabrina's getting huge. Singular Acts 1 and 2 sound just like any other huge pop girl project. Kind of like Thank You Next. First of all, we do not tolerate Thank You Next slander here. But second of all, Singular Acts 1 and 2 were like what? 5, 6, 7 years ago? Times have changed. She is not doing generic pop music anymore. She has found her sound. And she is only going to keep going and keep rolling with this success. As someone who has seen her live, Sabrina Carpenter is overrated, and her music is generic and annoying? Girl, give your ticket to someone else. K-pop has some of the best music ever made, but some people still see it as weird, so they don't give it a try. Well, yes! This one's so funny. I don't give a good goddamn about Olivia Rodrigo, and I feel like that's not okay with people. Well, when you say it like that, then yeah. Olivia Rodrigo might be going into country with what Guts Spilled has shown, and I'm scared for her. Country is just not her genre. See, I have to disagree with this one because I felt the same way that when I listened to the Guts Spilled tracks, it was a lot more country than like the rest of Guts, like Girl I've Always Been, Stranger. They're very kind of yeehaw country vibes. But I loved it. I loved it a lot. I thought Olivia's voice really suited the country vibes in those songs. And I could see her totally rolling with it and doing a very powerful album with that. I do think like the grungy pop sound that she has established for herself works better. But if she wants to vary it up, I'm totally down for it. I'm down to see where she goes with it. Also, Olivia Rodrigo is kind of falling off, TBH. Girl, what? It's been 2 albums, both of which have been massively successful. Where is she falling off? If y'all's faves aren't giving you music like every few months, you think they're falling off. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. She's fine. She's fine. She's gonna stay big for a while, don't worry. Madison Beer has some of the best songs I've ever heard, but people don't take her seriously because she's pretty. I'm not a Madison Beer like stan, but I have heard some of her music and I do think she has a lot of talent. She's an amazing singer and she does have some really good songs, but I can see where you're coming from. That people might not take her seriously because she's more known as just like that really pretty pop star, you know? So maybe people aren't taking her as seriously, but I don't know. I also think her music isn't making as much of an impact as it needs to for people to really, really take her seriously. I did listen to her more recent album. I forgot what it's called. I liked it, but I didn't think it was anything crazy. And then her more recent hit that was going viral on TikTok, that one, Make You Mine. That's what it's called, right? I actually really like that song, and I think if she goes all out with that sound, maybe she already has, maybe I missed another album that she put out, but if she takes that further, I think that could actually make quite an impact. Yeah. The Tortured Poets Department is both the most overhated and underhated album of 2024. I thought what would be a better way to finish out this video than by talking about ttpd, since my video on this era is what brought me to 1,000 subscribers, and I thought this comment was a really interesting summary of kind of all the different opinions I received about the Tortured Poets Department. Some people were saying it's overrated, some are saying it's underrated. I think ultimately the Tortured Poets Department is a fine album. Like, I really like it. I think it's good. I think it has a lot of quality elements. I also think it has some not very good elements to it. I talked about this at length already many times on this channel. It's fine. It's a fine, good album, but because it was released by Taylor Swift, there is so much more discourse around it, and every kind of side of the debate is entirely blown out of proportion because it's in relation to Taylor Swift. Everything about Taylor Swift is so polarizing, it's so heated, it's so loud because there's so many people talking about her that everything just seems a lot more dramatic than it actually is. Everyone's saying this is the best album ever, it deserves all its praise. People going after the throats of music critics, that all gets blown out of proportion because there are so many diehard Swifties who are doing that. There's also the subset of people who don't like Taylor Swift and are using this album to show the downfall of her career, that she's a lazy, bad songwriter, all these other really untrue things. And that side is also blown out of proportion because there are so many people who don't like Taylor Swift. So yeah, in a way, it is kind of like the most overhated and underhated album of the year. And again, the way I read that is just that it's a good album. It's fine. It's nothing crazy. It's also nothing terrible. And like I've said already multiple times, we have stopped treating album cycles like that. We have started to polarize it. I feel like we've started to have to take everything to the extreme when that's really not how music works. There was another one that I thought was pretty interesting. The anthology, while I love it, shows that Aaron's production style can get just as stale as Jack's. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, this album did bring up a lot of stuff like she needs to drop Jack Antonoff. We already talked about it, right? But the same thing goes with the anthology. I feel like when you hear similar sounding songs, people automatically go to, this is stale, this is monotone, but that's not. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think that the production is there. It's there. It's varied. It's interesting. It's really, I feel like, more about the general vibe of everything and the lyrical content, if that is what is getting monotone and stale to you. And if you feel that way, then maybe, but I don't know. I think the anthology is very wonderful and diverse. Last opinion, which is hilarious, I had to bring it up. Paper rings could be used as a torture device. Oh my god. I would not go as far as to say that, but y'all know my feelings on paper rings. I do think if I had to hear it endlessly, then maybe I would go insane. I did have a lot of opinions just about artists here and there that people were saying, this album is really good, this artist is really good and underrated, you have to go check them out. And these are a lot of artists I didn't really have many strong opinions on, so I didn't bring them up in their own topics, but I'm just going to go through and kind of shout them all out right now. And these are artists y'all have declared should be bigger artists, to quote ttpd. Addison Rae, Kylie Cantrell, Aurora, Avril Lavigne, Charlie Puth, Clairo, Gwen Stefani, Hozier, Megan Thee Stallion, Shakira, Tate McRae, Tyla, and Wave to Earth. And there were a lot more opinions that I did not cover in this video. I know, I'm aware, there were a lot, and maybe I'll do another one of these in the future. Anyways, yeah, thank you again for all the support and engagement. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. I hope you had fun talking about all these opinions, and let me know what you thought, if you agree, if you disagree. Stay tuned for more rankings, more commentary. I'm not sure if my next video will be able to come out next Friday. I'll see what I can do. Okay, that's all for this one. Bye!